Hello friends, it's scorching hot in Poland, so let's talk about records, about the cynicism of the authorities, and of course about tragedies, tragic events. Poland is melting. The century-old temperature record has been broken, and the abnormal heat has already led to tragic consequences. Friends, people are dying on the beaches, at work, and so on. Let's break down this harsh reality in the new video. Please give a like, subscribe to the channel right now, and hit the bell. Friends like support aerodynamics, right, Boldy? Why aren't you at the front? This is important for promoting the video. Remember, TransferGo is the best money transfer service. The link is in the description. Support your family and loved ones by sending money if you can. Yes, friends, let's get down to business. The first part is timestamps in the description. Let's talk about the general situation. Let's start with pure physics, with meteorology. According to the Polish Institute of Meteorology and Water Management, the border city of Subic recorded an unprecedented temperature of 40.5 degrees. This result seems to have been finally confirmed after all the checks, and we have a new absolute record in the entire history of official meteorological observations in the country. The previous temperature maximum held for more than 100 years. It was 40.2 degrees. That was back in the days of the First Republic, in July 1921, in the city of Płoszków. Now, almost the entire territory of the country is under the influence of extreme heat. Friends, please write in the comments which city you are watching from and what the temperature is there right now. In our city, Ichmiller, it's currently 34 degrees. Write how much it is where you are. We're back in sunny Poland. Second and third degree warnings were issued in the voivodeships, and citizens are getting texts from the security center. Meteorologists say that after the extreme heat, strong thunderstorms and squally conditions will follow, wind and hail. The infrastructure is under strain, and nature is taking its toll. Well, that's a tough question. Philosophically, are modern European cities ready for this kind of climate reality? Or will century-old records continue to lead to a complete utilities paralysis? Write in the comments about how things are in your city regarding this issue. Well, now let's move directly to the tragedies. The first one is on the Narew River, dangerous swims near Warsaw, because extreme weather conditions naturally drove people to the water. Well, you need to cool off. This immediately affected the reports of the rescue services. On June 28 in Nowy Dwór Mazowiecki, not far from Warsaw, two Ukrainian citizens, both 20 years old, tried to swim across the Narew River near the Rapsega Bridge. The distance and current proved treacherous. One young man began to drown while his friends swam to shore and called for help. But by the time the rescue teams and firefighters arrived, who searched the riverbed using a sonar device, the young man had already disappeared under the water for good. The rescue is over, but the search for the body goes on. The second young man was hospitalized, but thankfully will be okay. Nothing threatens his life. Friends, what can I say? Water doesn't forgive mistakes, especially during peak temperature periods. It's a sad result of ordinary carelessness on the water. Of course, this is a philosophical question. Should local authorities strictly control wild beaches and swimming spots, or is it solely a matter of personal responsibility for everyone? So write in the comments what you think. Next, friends, we have another piece of news, let's say, that we can't ignore because it happened to a Ukrainian woman, but this time it's not in Poland. Now we're going to take a little detour to Switzerland. A tragedy in the canton of Lucerne. Crime reports from this beautiful mountainous country. On June 22 in Lucerne, near the settlement of Escholzmatt, the pastoral alpine meadows suddenly gave way to grim criminal reality. At 2 p.m., law enforcement found the body of a 37-year-old Ukrainian woman by the Balenbach stream. She was young, with her whole life ahead of her. I'll tell you this absolutely seriously because I believe that even at 40, life is just beginning. God willing, you still have another 40 years of healthy, active life ahead of you. Not far away, detectives found a seriously wounded 35-year-old citizen of Afghanistan who was urgently airlifted to the hospital by a medical helicopter. At the moment, the prosecutor's office of the city of Zurich is considering this citizen as the main suspect in the intentional murder. That's how it is. However, the local justice system is being cautious. The circumstances, the origin of the injuries, let's establish everything. The official motives are not being disclosed, and the police are looking for witnesses. Well, that's the reality, my friends, that even in the quiet Swiss cantons, social and personal conflicts can turn into all sorts of tight criminal knots. That's life. There's nothing you can do about it. In general, the incident, the picture of what happened, is of course still unclear. The investigators are keeping quiet for now, not revealing their hand, but it's hard to say anything at this point. You can comment if you believe this is the end of a personal drama or a result of migrant adaptation issues in Europe. Next, we return to sunny Poland. Yes, this is also tragic news, but it's not related to Ukrainians. Statistics that make your hair stand on end. The abnormal heat has led to the first confirmed cases of death directly from heat exposure. The city of Kelm, Lake Glinianka. A passerby discovered the body of a 60-year-old woman. I can't say she was a young girl, but she could have lived another 20 years if she didn't have any serious chronic illnesses. The police ruled out foul play and drowning. The woman simply lost consciousness while resting on the beach due to her body's reaction to the extreme heat, which was later confirmed by the mayor of the city, Mr. Jakub Banaszek. Well, condolences to the family. No jokes, I don't care. Polish woman, Ukrainian woman, of course. It doesn't even matter at all what her political views were. A similar incident happened in the city of Huta, Greater Poland Voivodeship. Also a young woman, 47 years old, she decided to sunbathe in her own backyard. An hour later, her husband noticed that his wife wasn't responding to his words. You know, I just pay attention to how husbands and wives communicate on the beach nowadays. In my opinion, it's criminally little, right? I'd like to make a little jab, but of course I won't do that. Maybe the man was busy with his own things, playing video games or tidying up somewhere in the garage. That's it. He noticed after an hour that his wife wasn't really responding. The doctor's resuscitation efforts failed. Severe sunburns were only recorded after the fact. In general, just on that one Sunday alone, 17 people drowned in Poland. This is the highest daily figure since the beginning of June, and the total statistics since June 1 amount to 55 people. The scale of carelessness is astonishing against the backdrop of the heat wave. The statistics, in my opinion, are truly frightening. Dozens of lives lost in just a few days. Based on your experience, why do people ignore the warnings from rescuers and meteorologists during such heat? Write your thoughts in the comments. For example, when was it 30 or 35 degrees in Belsk? No, the weather wasn't like that last year. Well, right now in Turkey it's 33. Well, okay. Even damn well, okay, that's not the best example because I remember how it was in Poland. Here in Turkey I have both a pool and the sea nearby, so that's not a fair example. Well, but in Poland, if it's a day off and it's 37 degrees, when was the last time that happened, right? Well, of course, it was a long time ago, so just don't leave the house, that's it. Sit, drink water, stay home, lie down, lick salt. Sorry for the expression. Next, 2 participants of a cycling marathon died near Warsaw during the heat. It happened on Sunday, the Poland Bike Marathon in Maki. 2 cyclists died. The first was a 30-year-old young guy, Mikal, from some club. He was lying with no signs of life 200 meters from the track. Next, 71-year-old Mr. Kazimierz. Right. He was searched for all night with the help of the police, military, and firefighters. 150 volunteers with drones and dogs, but on Monday he was found in the forest. He didn't survive either. The organizers said they tried to dissuade the 71-year-old man before the start. Come to your senses, man. That's it. He complained about dehydration after poisoning 3 days ago, but still went to the start. The cause of death is being investigated by the prosecutor's office. Well, in my opinion, it's more or less clear anyway. Due to extreme heat, organizers preemptively cut all distances by 7 kilometers. Well, I'd like to make a sarcastic remark, yes, that healthy people don't need sports, and for the sick it's harmful. That's why I don't do sports. Well, let's move on. June 28th, the popular Blanquita Laguna Beach in Seknica, that's near Wrocław. An accident. A 19-year-old guy, while outside the swimming area, started drowning. He swam somewhere. His 24-year-old friend rushed to help him, but in the end, he went under the water himself. Witnesses and the on-duty lifeguards pulled both of them to shore. The 19-year-old was conscious. He was taken to the hospital. And the rescuers tried to resuscitate the older man for about an hour, but they couldn't save him. Now, a shocking detail of the incident has become known, yes. Well, he started drowning. His friend jumped into the water, but he died himself. That's how it happened. The police comment on the situation. It's sad, of course. By the way, interestingly enough, both of the victims are citizens of sunny Georgia. So, at the same time, on the same day, another tragedy happened in the region on the water. A man drowned in the Amber Reservoir. Right? Oh, friends, honestly, I didn't even plan to record this video. I just wanted to talk about the tragedies with Ukrainians. But, as you can see, let's keep going. Next part, Medzewodi, the price of parental duty. Let's call it that. If this was some kind of headline for a post on Telegram, Amid general negligence, there are tragic cases where people die in the line of duty. Medzavody, West Pomeranian Voivodeship, 42 years old male, young, came here for vacation from Galinyov County. The father noticed that his children started swimming away from the shoreline, losing control over the safe swimming area. The man went into the water to bring the children back to shore. He accomplished his task. The children were unharmed. However, on his way back, it's unclear how, but he went under the water and couldn't get out on his own. Emergency services and even a helicopter were quickly dispatched to the scene, but resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful. The police are conducting an investigation, but the fact remains, the man died saving his family. Well, in this sad case, there's only one thing I want to say. I hope he had good insurance at work so the kids won't be left without a piece of bread. Well, although Poles are kind people for the most part. Honestly, I'm saying this without any exaggeration. If anything, they'll organize some kind of fundraiser. If anyone knows about it, send the information about the fundraiser in the comments. We'll help the kids, no problem. I think 50 or 100 zlotys. I honestly will find it. I'll find it. Next. Well, actually, it's a tragedy. Yes, it leaves few people indifferent. Father wanted to do something bold, but all right. Everything about this story is clear. Next we return to our happy capitalism. Not everyone is on vacation. 36 degrees in the city of Sanok, the factory, the final note. Here, bourgeois cynicism and concern for human capital are fully revealed. This is Podkarpachi, Sanok. In the midst of the heat, a man died at his workplace. He was 52 years old. He wasn't young, but he likely had 20 more years to live. This all happened Monday, June 29, at a manufacturing plant on Remonta Street. Honestly, I don't know what kind of plant it is. If anyone knows, comment below. What do they produce? At 1 p.m., the unconscious worker was found in the restroom. Resuscitation failed and doctors pronounced him dead. Now let's pay attention. Let's assess the level of care. On that day, the thermometer in Sanok showed 36 degrees in the shade. Officials from the city administration assessed the situation, showed touching care for themselves and their loved ones, and shortened the workday to 1 o'clock, 13 o'clock. Like, damn, come on, you went outside, so what if we have air conditioners here? We're still suffering here. But at the manufacturing plant, the workers kept toiling at the machines during the hottest part of the day, even though they were kind of under a roof. The company's employees repeatedly complained to management about the unbearable temperature in the workshops. But come on, as we know, you can't just stop production over something like that. Some workers always complain. First it's too hot, then too cold, then too hot again. We're not stopping anything. Profit matters more, right? Currently, the State Labor Inspectorate and Prosecutor's Office are investigating if safety standards were met. Imagine that, what a shock. At 36 degrees in the factory, you could die. A clear example of a class-based approach, right? Friends, officials leave at 1, while workers stay at their machines until they die or the shift ends. It's still unclear which comes first. Let's hope the employer actually faces real criminal punishment, or maybe they'll just blame it on natural causes. What? The guy was sick, had heart problems, should have stayed home, taken sick leave. What's the problem? Make your prediction, and we'll compare later. Friends, well, what can I say? Problems, it's a problem. If we put all the facts together, an extremely pragmatic picture emerges. There is no idealism in matters of organizing work and rest under market conditions, and there can't be. While nature is breaking century-old temperature records, all the systemic flaws are being exposed. From the personal carelessness of citizens on the water to the absolute crystal-clear top-grade cynicism of business owners who are ready to send people to work in hellish heat. And for what purpose? Finish unloading, make money, and maybe tip the workers for bread to meet the plan. The laws of capitalist economics work equally harshly. As you can see, people sometimes pay with their own lives for following them. Well, that's how it is. Yes, by the way, leave a like to support the working class. Friends, I want to send greetings to all truck drivers, all turners, milling machinists, warehouse workers, and those in pharmaceuticals. Thank you so much. If I forgot anyone, write it in the comments. Dennis, why aren't you greeting medical workers? Send greetings to them too. So we have one more piece of news, yes, briefly, about the tragedy about Ukrainians, the terrorist attack in Monaco. Yes, a businessman from Dnipro, Vadim Yermolayev, was injured there. According to Le Figaro, the explosion happened on June 29 in a residential building near the border with France. Yes. 3 people from one Ukrainian family were injured. The couple, aged 50 and 60, suffered injuries. The woman even had to have her legs amputated, yes. A 13-year-old is in serious but moderate condition at Lenvol Children's Hospital, while the adult is hospitalized. The investigation is treating the incident as a deliberate attack. According to Reuters, surveillance cameras recorded a man who left his backpack at the entrance and fled on foot. He is already being sought. Well, we'll see how it ends. Well, as for whether this is just some kind of business dispute, friends, according to information from the Monaco prosecutor's office, the explosive device was homemade. It contained bolts and metal pellets to increase the damaging effect. It's unclear if this was a business dispute. Well, I should say that this Mr. Yermolayev, as far as I know, was under sanctions. Well, maybe he's got something to hide. It could be political disputes or maybe business disputes. If you know anything, write it in the comments. This doesn't change the fact that you need to take care of yourself and your loved ones, especially in this heat. That's all for now. Leave a like and comment. See you next time.